And we welcome you to the GEICO 15 Minutes or Less Coaches Show with the head coach of the College of Charleston, Doug Wojcik. It's brought to you, as always, by GEICO, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call GEICO at 1-800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO, or visit geico.com. And we welcome you courtside here down at TD Arena. Good to be back home. Guys have been on the road for about the past week. I think we're still a little bit tired, trying to recover from that trip out to Anaheim. But Coach, before we get too much into each one of the individual games and the players, I just want to get your overall thoughts. Really nice trip. It was really exciting to go out to California, and now the flight back, the red eye wasn't so much fun, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of the guys on the team had never been out to California before, so a pretty good trip.
Well, it was, and for our folks in Charleston, the weather was no nicer than it is here. So, I mean, that's, a lot of those teams like Creighton's going back to Omaha and Marquette's going back to Milwaukee. We're coming back to Charleston. But it was a good trip, and we do really well on trips. I mean, the bonding that goes on, the togetherness, less distractions. We're all together in a hotel, and the kids really responded. Played great teams, and were able to get a win in the last game and make the trip even better coming home.
It's kind of a fun moment on the final day that we were there on Sunday. We finally had a chance for the guys to relax, so you guys took us all down to Manhattan Beach. We got a chance to walk along the beach, got to see a house for sale at $14.5 million that we all wanted, but that was kind of a fun time that Sunday night.
First things first, the In-N-Out burgers.
In-N-Out
they
burgers.
They had the In-N-Out burgers, and they really enjoyed it. And in fact, Ajay texted me a picture of 4 of them that he had eaten. So we had a good time, and now it's back to business for them academically, because obviously it's a quick turnaround. We get in here at 11 a.m. on Monday morning, last day of class. They had a reading day yesterday, study day, and then finals started today.
Now, when we talk about the competition out in California, obviously it was very good. I guess all you need to know is that one of the top 20 teams in the country coming into last week, Creighton, goes 1-2 in the tournament. That just kind of shows you how good the field was.
Well, and Marquette goes to Arizona State earlier in the week, similar to the way we played Miami, loses, and then they lose again in the tournament. So you're exactly right. Good players, good teams everywhere. Give San Diego State credit. Boy, oh boy, they're really good. They're really long. And after watching that tape, we just didn't start well, and we were a little on our heels too much. From that point on, it was a fairly even game. But once you get down 20 points, it's tough to recover.
Let's start with the most recent game on Sunday against Cal State Fullerton. Great bounce back win for you guys. 4 players in double figures. A little bit interesting, kind of a different game, because so many times you've had a chance to play your bench, but this time it was pretty much the starters who stepped up. 4 of them scoring double figures. Even Willis Hall, who only had 2 points, had 11 rebounds. So a good performance out of the start.
It was, and what I think the fans need to understand too, for all the teams, you went from playing in a small gym at Cal State Fullerton to now playing in the Honda Center, which is the old pond out there where the Anaheim Ducks play. So now your sight lines, it's a big arena. It's probably 15,000 seat arena, 18,000 seat arena. So the scoring on Sunday wasn't great. In fact, San Diego State scored the most points on Sunday, and we had scored the second most points with 61. So I thought the shooting was a little affected, particularly second half. We played a great first half. And again, great to see Joe Cheely have a good floor game, come back. Great to see Canyon, have a game where he scored it. And then I thought Anthony Stitt and Ajay were just terrific. I thought they were the staples that they need to be, the juniors, the experienced players, and they really kind of got us through that game.
So many times, Coach, let's talk about Ajay Brew. We talk about him just being the best player on the floor. And I thought he really played like it, especially in that game against Cal State Fullerton. I thought he played well against Arizona State, too, against their 7'2" guy. When he elevates that jumper, you guys have done such a good job with him. I think his game's really come a long way.
It has, and he's a terrific kid. I mean, there are times we want to see it to be a little more consistent. I told him, if you can shoot that jump hook over Bojinski for Arizona State, the 7'2" kid, then just think that he's out there every time, because he didn't block it and no one else is going to block it. So, but he was really, really good on Sunday. He had the 5 blocks, and I think he'd probably be disappointed just in the free throw shooting, because he's been our best free throw shooter. He was probably at 90%. One great thing about the Fullerton game in the first half, we were 11 of 13 from the line. I talked about it at halftime, and I said, from now on, no more free throw talking from me, because of the second half, we weren't very good.
Yeah, you started 11 for 11.
Right. I mean, Ajay, who's my best, misses 3 to start the half. I said, I'm done talking about free throw shooting.
See, I thought you were going to blame Everett and I, because we were the ones who were talking about it during the game as well.
No, I blame myself on that one.
Joe Cheeley, what were your thoughts on him? So many freshmen on this team, tough to single out just one, but how do you think his tournament went?
Well, it was good. Thursday night was a tough night for him. I mean, they switched everything. He took a lot of shots. We didn't share the ball. They were switching everything, so it was just a tough night for us. And again, like I said, I thought that he bounced back pretty darn well. I think he's a resilient kid, and just nice to see him handle the ball, take care of it, but also score a little bit on Sunday. Again, you never want to lose 3 in a row, and we didn't. So I thought it was a great gut check and a great game by him.
Good to see Canyon Berry get back on track also in that game against Cal State Fullerton. You could really tell that his shot was coming back.
Yeah, he was aggressive, and I thought he really got himself started on the defensive end. I think Canyon really has experienced people attacking him defensively, and that's the problem with me playing 3 guards. You know, if somebody has a big, small forward like J.J. O'Brien for San Diego State, you know, they tend to attack Canyon at that spot. So I thought he got himself going defensively, and did a great job, and nice to see him score.
Overall, you guys now 3-5 on the season. You and I were just talking about before we came on. What a tough schedule, I mean, that you guys have played so far.
Yeah, I mean, the only solution to that is play an easier schedule. And I think fans, generally, and I get this, if someone's on your schedule, they expect you to win. And that's fine, I understand that. But the one game you regret is Asheville, but I don't regret the performance other than missing shots. I'm not going to yell at kids for missing shots. We just didn't make shots. We hold them to 54. We don't win the game. Had we been sitting here 4-4 with losses to Louisville, Miami, San Diego State, and Arizona State, you know, I'd probably feel even better than what I do, even though I don't like being 4-4. But San Diego State was really, really good, and their guard Thames is a 5th-year senior, and really experienced. And then Arizona State has 2 NBA players. They have Jahi Carson and the big 7'2" kid. So. I think it's going to make us better. I think the kids really enjoy playing against those teams. I don't think they perceive us as being second fiddle to anybody when we play in those games. And, I think we'll learn from it. I think we're definitely going to be battle tested for sure as we head into December.
Coach, to wrap up this first segment, when you look back on these first 8 games, especially that trip to California, have you learned anything about your team? Learned anything new? Have there been any surprises at all, or were you pretty much set in your rotation?
Personnel-wise?
Yeah.
I think that's always going to be evolving. I think the guys in the mix, it'll depend game to game. David Wishon, Terrence O'Donohue, Jonathan Cook, Theo Johnson. Anthony Thomas is pretty much a staple there at 20 to 25 minutes a game. And then, at some point, Nori Johnson may be able to help us. But that's pretty much going to stay the same. And, sometimes I got to be a little bit careful not to give the starters enough rhythm, enough time to develop the chemistry during the course of a game. But sometimes foul trouble dictates that as well.
Right. Again, the guys coming back from California now 3-5. We'll take a break. When we come back, a little bit of a break now for finals, but then on December 12th, 3 games in 6 days. So after finals, we'll get back to it fast and furious again. We'll take a timeout. Back with more with the coach right after this on the GEICO 15 Minutes or Less podcast here on CFC Sports.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Yep, everybody knows that.
Well, did you know that some owls aren't that wise?
Don't forget I'm having brunch with Megan tomorrow.
Who?
Megan, my coworker.
Who?
Seriously, you've met her like 3 times.
Who?
GEICO. 15 minutes could save you, well, you know.
And welcome back to the GEICO 15 Minutes or Less podcast with the head coach, Doug Wojcik. Thanks for tuning in. Coach, it's a great time of year. We just wrapped up our tournament out in California, and last night to see Iowa playing Notre Dame and to see North Carolina with some big matchups in Kentucky. And that's a great thing about college basketball this time of year is that with all these non-conference tournaments, you get to see really some top 5, top 10, top 20 matchups across the country.
Well, that's going back to our scheduling. I just think kids want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of that. And our fans want to be a part of that. So, you know, like tonight, Michigan State plays North Carolina.
Right.
That's a big game in our house, and you know, we'll look forward to seeing it. But it is exciting. I think teams, you know, most people just know your team. A lot of teams go through moments. You know, Marquette, top 25 team, they have 3 losses already for a team that's supposed to win the Big East. And so there's this constant, you know, evolution of every team based on who you're playing, and it's just nice to see the you know, some of the upsets that's gone on too in college basketball. For instance, UAB beating North Carolina, Belmont beating North Carolina. You know, Coach Williams probably not feeling too good about his team right now too. So, I mean, that's just part of it.
I wanted to make sure that we gave a big shout out to your staff. I thought they did a really good job. It's been a tough start to the year, especially out in California. You got 3 games in 4 days. A lot of preparation goes on behind the scenes with Joe Wallace and Rich and Amir and Ryan. You mentioned Mark, our strength and conditioning coach. Kate Tiller was there with academic services. There are a lot of people behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Our fans may want to know this. This is really first time I've been able to do that, but we took Kate Tiller, our academic person out there, support person, and we had study hall on Wednesday and we had study hall on Saturday, and we accomplished a lot. So, you know, it's my 4th straight year of playing in one of those ESPN tournaments when you play 3 games in 4 days, and it puts tremendous stress on a staff. You're preparing for 7 teams. You know 2 of them for sure 3 of them who for sure that you're going to play, but you don't know the other ones. So in that sense, you have to really you know, be prepared, be organized, and work together. But not tough in the sense that it's always going to be tough when you put that type of stress on your team and your program playing that kind of competition. But I still think it makes us better, and I still think it gives us great publicity. We played on ESPNU for 3 straight nights. That's great for the college.
A lot of video production goes into that as well. So Rich and even Phil, I thought Phil did a great job. I mean, Phil's our director of basketball operations. He's got to plan out the trip, so he had his hands full as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's no fun being Phil. I mean, it's not fun. Joe Wallace did it for 7 years. There's things that always pop up. The managers did a good job. They put the video input into the computer as well, into the server, and we're a pretty well oiled machine going forward. Looking forward to the month of December now being 1-0. And trying to go undefeated in the month.
Again, looking forward now, obviously next week off here for finals, but then you guys starting on Thursday the 12th, you'll have 3 games in 6 days, I believe it is. We'll just get right to Coker and kind of break them down. I'm not sure how much you've had a chance to look at them, but 4-2 so far on the season. They got a couple of guards who can score, but Coker, then Marist, and then Old Dominion.
Well, I mean, I think it's the right thing to do coming out of finals, and then you got Marist on that Sunday, and then a tough game at Old Dominion. I mean, Jeff Jones has done a good job with Old Dominion so far, and be a tough place to play. And then we come home, and Kent State is 7-1. They've really had a great year so far. So those 2 teams in particular, Old Dominion and Kent State, and then you know, a Davidson, a rival game, Citadel and a Davidson after Christmas. We have a hard schedule.
And when you look ahead to Old Dominion, you said like they've turned things around. Kent State, Davidson on January 1st. I mean, this is going to be, it's not like things are going to get any easier for you guys. Well, but you mentioned them being battle tested. This will probably help us out.
Well, I think in a way it's good because I don't know if everyone realizes how good the league's going to be in certain scenarios. I mean, we have a week later in the season where we're at Delaware on a Wednesday and we're at Towson on Saturday. Delaware just won at Charleston Southern. They've played Villanova tough. Towson's having a great year. Drexel loses by 4 to Arizona, had Arizona down 19. Arizona went into San Diego State and beat San Diego State by 9 at San Diego State in front of 12,000 people. So those 3 are pretty good, and I'm not so sure about everyone else. Northeastern has done something that we've done, played a really tough schedule. They played in the Puerto Rican tournament. They beat Georgetown. They're 2-5 right now, and it's nowhere near how good they are in terms of the level of competition they've played. So it's going to be a tough league, no doubt.
It's been an exciting start to the season, I think, for everybody throughout the nation, and us included. So thanks for your time. Great trip out to California. We'll talk to you again here in a couple weeks.
Go get some sleep, Jeff.
I'm going to try. You too. All of us need some sleep. Remember, the kids are a lot younger than we are.
My mom can see that I'm tired. I know, and she's the one person that can tell.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you again. It's the GEICO 15 minutes or less coaches show here with the head coach Doug Wojcik.